the game we've been playing this week is a kind of a retro game, a Wii title from Namco. It's Konola, and Konola is a series that's been around for a long time, since the early PlayStation 1 days. And it's a game that they really don't make too much anymore. It used to be the game that ruled the roost, an adorable, iconic mascot type character.
I think I played it on the GBA.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah,
loved it.
In a a 2D platforming environment, left side of the screen, right to the right side of the screen, collecting things along the way, bopping enemies on the head, that kind of thing, Mario style. This is an update to the PlayStation version, and it's on the Wii, but it doesn't really use many of the Wii staples like the motion controller. It's a pretty standard 2D platformer, but it's all 3D graphics, so the graphics have had a major upgrade. But the gameplay remains pretty much the same. So, Dan, was this a fun kind of throwback for you? Or
loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. I love this. I love playing these kinds of games. I wish there was more of them.
Yeah.
I just loved it.
It's weird too, because there used to be tons of them.
I know. It was the game. It was the game that everyone.
Yeah, it was the FPS of its time.
Yeah, I mean, it does subtle things to f with the way you play your character. Jump. It's not just Mario where B is run fast and A is jump, and you have to use those skills to traverse the game. Your jump has a hesitation in it, so it changes the way you think about that, and double jumps do different things. And
well, you also have to use enemies to jump.
Right, it's like those subtle, tiny little, just a nudge does enough to make the experience new and fun that you don't need to make things going in 3D space or Paper Mario where you don't need to do crazy things, just little nudges.
But they do interesting stuff with the 3D graphics in the sense that
absolutely,
you see where you're gonna be before you get there, and you'll go around corners, and it'll stay ostensibly it's what they call 2.5D, because you do go back into the 3D space, but you're always on a 2D plane for playing.
What I mean is you don't need to Mario 64 or Uncharted or Jak and Daxter or Crash Bandicoot. Platformers don't have to be just 3D.
Right.
Like, there's still enough to be done. It's kind of like with special effects in movies. As once they started having computers in the fray, we then had less good stuff happening in computers that eventually got better, and we've stopped progressing the art of practical effects.
Right.
And it's sort of like, I wish that now practical effects are being combined to make better movies, and I wish that, like that in platforming, we could continually up the ante in just this 2D or 2.5D.
It's interesting that you're comparing 3D graphics to 3D graphics.
It is.
That was a good comparison. I had a blast. I mean, I loved Konola on the GBA. Like, once I got into, oh yeah, right, I have the thing that scoops enemies and I can double jump off of them. It was like a blast. And then I will just to point something out for me, I really dislike that sometimes these games, the cutscenes seem like they're built in molasses. Like there's just this really
I skipped
slow.
all of them. I said, F it. No way.
With the story, I'm doing it.
No way is this going to bring me in.
Because there are ways that cutscenes can be fun, but for some reason, and Nintendo is, I think, and maybe it's the translation from Japan.
Later, won't we?
But for me, it definitely is that move through slow molasses of even just the exchange. It's not like the writing's bad or the story's slow.
The writing is pretty bad.
Well, but that's not the.
I mean, it's simplistic and kid-like.
It is, but if that was snappy and like moved, I'd be like, I'd just get through. Okay, you know, I mean, I get it's a kid's game. But there's just, the exchanges were bad. But the platforming aspect of it is great. It's super fun. The 2D is great because it's like, you get to see where you're going and then you go, how do I get there? And then sometimes the way that you get there is totally not the way you think, and you're like, oh, I'm in that place, my mind's blown.
Yeah, I liked it too. You know, it doesn't compare to the heights of the genre. It doesn't compare to Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii, which it really, to me, it stands out even more when you play another game like it and you see just how much creativity there was in Galaxy. Every single level is just mind-blowingly inventive. But yes, you guys are absolutely right. It's still worth playing. And if you never played this on the PlayStation and you have a Wii and you're looking for a good game to come out, just came out.
Yeah.
It's cheaper
fun.
too. It's a cheaper game.
Yeah.
$30.
Yeah.
Yeah.